Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
Well, good morning and welcome to Top Story, 736-0300, and good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly.
How are you this time? What about the light? Was the light back?
Yes, it was there.
Oh, my.
It's big, it blinks, it goes on and off, and I was going to film it, and I'm like, I'm too tired, because the time I went to bed, I'm too tired. But I was driving to work today, and I see some tower there, so I think someone put some huge, big white light that blinks on and off.
It's probably
enough where it goes into my bedroom.
It's probably a temporary light until they get the lights up on it for aviation hazard.
Why don't you drive by it with me, and we can check?
Oh, I guess I could.
I suppose.
Mister,
I'm sure that's what it is. I don't know.
I'm sure that's what it is.
Don't they have some kind of regulations for the size of the lights on these towers?
No.
That they could blink how many feet away?
They have to be so bright in order to be legal. They have
this
to be
is the biggest one
brightness.
I've ever seen. No, it's not a small one. It is a big one. It's a bizarre. I've never seen one this size before ever. Never.
I don't know.
I've lived there 11 years, and I've never seen one there, but I've never seen one this big anywhere. It dwarfs the one next to it on the tower.
Well, I looked coming in this morning from the west, of course, and I couldn't see it. Does it shine all around, or does it just shine one direction? Into your bedroom window.
It shines into my bedroom. I have not gotten out of bed and driven around it. The last 2 nights I've seen it, so I don't know.
Well, it's probably coming on as soon as it gets dark. So a couple hours before you go to bed, get out and go take a look at it.
Well, I'm going to have to.
See what it is.
I'm going to see, but it's a big one. It's a big one.
All right, well.
And it shines brightly.
The mystery continues.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a fixed orb.
Coming up, it might be. Coming up, we have Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans this morning at 8:30. Mm-hmm. And then at 9 o'clock, we have Kelly Knievel, Scott Truax, and Eddie Braun.
No, we don't.
I'm sorry.
We have Gary Davis.
Gary Davis.
He's the chief engineer, the stuntman coordinator. We have Kelly Knievel. That's
all
correct.
Right, I got that one right.
We got Eddie Braun.
Okay, so Scott is probably back at the site getting ready for the test later today.
Yeah, what happened was that something was clogged in the hose or whatever, and so they couldn't do it yesterday. So it's scheduled for today at 4.
I see. Okay.
So we'll find out more about what happened.
Getting kind of exciting. Testing the rockets.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll find out all about that with not Scott Truax, but Eddie Braun, Gary Davis, and
Kelly Knievel.
Kelly Knievel. That's right.
I think, yeah.
Good name, Kelly Knievel.
Yeah. I told him that you had called the original flight.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he didn't. He was just a little boy, but yeah, he was like, oh, so he's interested in meeting you.
Oh, well, hey, here I am.
I said, well.
I got to go through some tapes at home. I've got some old-fashioned quarter-inch tapes at home that I had some of that stuff on. And when I go home, I don't remember to look. And then I'm going to have to find a quarter-inch tape machine in order to play back. Those things went out of style 30 years ago. So, but if I needed to drag one up, I probably could find one somewhere.
I'm sure someone has one in one of those old, stores that repair the old things, antiques.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too hard to come up with one, I'm sure. They're still in use in places.
But think how much that, history you have on your own.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly Klass.
The phones are ringing over. So
well, maybe they're telling me what the big light is.
Might be. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, lovely Jill. Hey, Jill, I'm sorry about your Buckeyes. I really do.
Oh, it's painful.
And, Kelly, I thought the Cowboys knew everything. They don't know nothing about the light. What is going on? I can't believe it. I got a suggestion to ask, because I won't have time to ask Steve Millington. Can you see if we can get get all these politicians, they cannot go into private sectors, especially for the lobbyists, because that's what it turns out to be. Every politician that gets elected, they seem to right away go to work. I take, for example, the FCC commissioners that deregulated all this licensing for the radio station. They right away, as soon as they were in front of Congress, saying, "Oh no, it'll never happen. It'll never be one-sided. It'll be both." There came Fox. So,
I see. So you want to regulate radio content now, huh?
No. What I'm saying, politicians should be banned from going to their contributors to work for them.
Like Eric Cantor just went to the Wall Street, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like 5 years. Give them 5 years, and I bet you there won't be, because every politician, that's what they want to do. They want to give themselves to some people out there, and they really don't care about the little people. So
I actually thought there was a waiting period. Wasn't there?
I did too.
At one point?
Did
they eliminate that?
I think they were working on it. I don't know.
Did they eliminate the waiting period?
I don't know. I thought that. Well, I think that was maybe that was the state of Idaho that did that.
I don't know.
So I don't know.
We'll ask
Steve
if he heard of that.
Too much going on. Yeah, we'll ask Steve. We do have some news going on though. Former Idaho First Lady Jackie Batt died. She was married to former Republican Governor Phil Batt for 66 years. She was 88 years old and died Sunday of natural causes in a Southwest Idaho hospital. So.
And he's still alive.
Yeah, he is.
How old is
and
he?
Still active.
How old is he? Was he older than she was?
I don't know. Because
at 88,
I'm sure he's in the same ballpark.
I'm sure he's in the same range,
yeah.
But he could be in his 90s.
Well, there was kind of 20 or 30 years. I guess it was longer than that. He was the governor back in the 80s, and there was kind of a joke going around that we had a regular, what do you call it, where they keep animals?
Pen? I don't know. Pen, ranch,
a zoo.
Barn,
we had a regular zoo. Some people would argue we still have a zoo going on in the Idaho State House, but we had a bat, a fox, and an otter.
Oh,
we had Governor Phil Batt, we had Lieutenant Governor Butch Otter, and we had Secretary of Superintendent of Public Schools Ann Fox.
Oh, that's funny.
So, anyway, just thought I would bring
a regular
that up.
zoo.
A regular zoo.
A regular, what do you call it? I don't know. I don't even know if I can go there because I'm like, I don't even know how you think. So I'm like, I don't even know if I can go in there and find the right word for you. We think so differently.
I know, we do. And I don't know why it is, but the older I get, the more difficult it is to come up with words that I'm thinking about.
It happens.
There's this mental block.
There is a block.
I know.
I sort of see it in your eyes, like, oh no.
Yeah, kind of that panic look.
Then I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a word, Jill. Tell me what it is.
And I'm like, I have no idea where you're going.
The attorney for Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl said Monday that he hasn't been updated on the review that could lead to a court-martial for his client, the longest-held American POW in the Afghanistan war. The Army said it had nothing new to report on the inquiry led by Brigadier General Kenneth Dahl. The man we're talking about here, lecturer Eugene Fidel, said that his client's enlistment term has ended and he wanted to leave the Army. So this is interesting. So is he required to stay in the Army as long as this is going on? Because they still have him working there. I don't know anything about military law.
I don't know either.
But so anyway, I guess nothing new there. So we're still waiting to see what happens. I was kind of surprised to see this morning. The Twin Falls School Board, school trustees Monday night, approved an emergency levy for $1.1 million.
I know, and they don't even need to get it voted on.
I saw that.
That kind of surprised me.
I didn't know that this law existed, but I guess it does. So apparently if a school district has more students than they did the previous year, then a school board can vote for an emergency levy. In this case, $1.1 million.
Can it be any amount?
That I don't know.
They didn't say there were limits. It didn't say how many times you could do it, because you almost think, well, you don't even have to get the voters. You could just pass a levy monthly. Are there any restrictions? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Emergency. I don't know. But chances are, yes, with all the growth, I mean, our schools will be overpopulated more than what they anticipated, but I thought part of it was anticipating how many students we had.
As of Thursday, we had 269 more students enrolled compared to last fall. So that's quite an increase.
But I thought they projected that all out when they determined how many elementary schools they were going to need, middle schools.
I think they do that to the best of their ability, but you can't, you can guesstimate about how many you plan to come in. But if more come in than you had guesstimated, then how in the world would you ever know that. How in the world would you be able to tell what it's going to be? You couldn't.
Well, they always project, and who knows? Obviously, they were off, and you think with $74 million bond they just had, but it's like, oh my gosh, how much more can taxpayers do?
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I know,
everything's
I know.
adding up. Sewers going up, the taxes going up, your property taxes going up, and now this goes up again.
Yeah, it seems like at some point we're going to have to cry uncle. But so anyway, there you go. But they did say that there was a $1.4 million bond from last year, an emergency levy. I'm throwing the word bond around improperly. And that was for 1 year apparently. So this is another one, but that one, I guess, is dropping off. So this one will actually be less than that one. So I don't think there's going to be a net increase in what taxpayers are paying. In fact, there might be a little bit of a net decrease, just not as much of a net decrease than if they hadn't passed this new bond. So they got a $1.1 million replacing the 1.4 from last year. Does that make sense?
Sure, it is clear as mud.
It's only money. It's only money.
It's only money. So there you go.
But you know what? Hey, people are complaining and yelling because we're not spending enough on kids' education. So,
well, I think it's how it was set up, and I think when Governor Risch was in office, that was the big turning point when he changed it from property taxes to sales and income tax, and it's really affected a lot of things, and they think that's why.
7360300, top story. You're on the air.
Jill just said what I was thinking. I wanted your opinion on what the difference between the property tax-based school deal was against the sales tax thing. If we went back to, I'm not saying we ever would, but if we went back to the property tax base, would that solve the problem?
Well, I don't think they had the problems when it was based on that. And, they said it was more like a three-legged stool as opposed to what it is now.
Here's the way I look at it. When you're paying for it with property taxes, it's just the property owners who are footing the bill. When you're at least paying for it with sales tax, you get everybody who buys anything, including people traveling through the state, to help pay for it. Now, whether or not it worked out the way it was supposed to or not, I don't know. But it just seems to me like rather than putting everything on property tax, let's share the expenses a little bit here. And I have always thought that a sales tax was the most fair tax we have because everybody participates. We can complain about taxes going up and taxes doing this, but it's the way our country operates.
It was
we
more
have
consistent.
To have tax money.
It was more consistent, and since that time when Risch changed it, things have gone down, and levies have gone up, and bonds have gone up, and there's been a real effect to it.
Well, we'll have to get an expert in here to talk about that because I'm just not quite sure. All I'm seeing at it as is that a sales tax is a more fair tax than a property tax.
Well,
we'll be right back here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call here on Top Story.
Don't do that to me.
Arguing with Jill about this stupid tower.
He's so sure of himself when he hasn't seen it. How do you know this isn't permanent?
Well, it's an idea. How do you know that it's not right?
I'm concerned it is permanent.
Well, then you'll have to do something.
Yes, I will.
Anyway, hey.
No, I'm not moving.
If you are looking at purchasing a low and honey loader, here's what you want to do. You want to see it in operation before you plunk down the big bucks for it, right? The Low and Honey Loader from Stanley & Company loads all types of manure, from liquid to frozen and dry. You can load up to 7 miles an hour. And it features a fast unloading rear hydraulic gate. It's just what you need. It's made for your feedlot or dairy. And you can see one of these in operation from others in the valley who have purchased one through Stanley & Company, because Pat Hartzell can make that happen. Give him a call. Say, Pat, I want to see one of these Low and Honey Loaders in operation before I decide. 280-1167 is his number, and he will help you out. Just tell him that Kelly and Jill sent you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Baltimore, big controversy here with Ray Rice of the Baltimore Ravens. It was announced the termination of Rice's contract yesterday, just hours after TMZ released a video showing him punching then-fiancée Janae Palmer in February. The Ravens' decision to cut Rice was followed by an announcement by the National Football League that he had been suspended indefinitely. Now, apparently there was some controversy here in that when it first came out, after that they had this confrontation in the elevator, that Rice was suspended for 2 games.
Yeah, 2 games.
And then when the NFL finally saw the video, they said, whoa, that's way overboard, so he's out.
Well, some people say they saw the video before because they made some statements about it. I mean, TMZ can get the video, the NFL hasn't, so they think they saw it before. But yeah, the outrage was 2 games for punching your girlfriend unconscious. But I think someone was suspended for a year for smoking marijuana. It's like, what was the difference? Or 6 years, 6 games for some steroid use or something like that. But just punching your girlfriend unconscious, 2 games. And if you really think that this is the first time he's done it, you have to be delusional, because if you see the video, did you see the video?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And
he really decked her.
He did.
I wonder what
She's lucky
did.
She wasn't. Oh, don't even go there as a joke.
Oh,
don't even go there as a joke.
Oh, now wait a minute. So
don't,
he just
stop.
did for no. I'm not saying it's
right. Oh my
right.
God!
No,
Are you kidding me?
minute.
She deserved to be punched. Anyone deserves to be punched like that?
No, I didn't say that.
What did she do to deserve
what
it?
she did that he thought she deserved it.
Oh, please.
Excuse me if I said that wrong.
Yeah, you did say that wrong, because abusers and domestic
political
violence.
correctness police are in full force today, ladies
Yeah,
and gentlemen.
it's your
All
fault.
I did was ask a simple question. I wonder what she did that pissed him off. Oh my God, you're not supposed to ask that question.
It
Why
doesn't
not?
matter. It
I'm
doesn't
just
matter
curious.
what she did. It's like wearing a short skirt. You deserve to be raped. Give me a break.
Oh my God.
That's the exact same question. What did she do? What did she do? Are you kidding me? It doesn't matter what she did. His response should not be punching her unconscious.
I agree.
Fine. So why would you even ask such a stupid question?
I'm wondering what set him off.
What set him off? It can set you off for your dinner's not on time. It doesn't matter with abusers.
Gosh.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what women do. It can set them off. And I am sorry if you think this was the first time he's ever punched her, when he said in his press conference, "Oh, I made the biggest mistake of my life." It's like, no way. You would never. I mean, just by his reaction when she was knocked out, if that was the first time you ever punched someone and your fiance's laying there knocked out, he just stood there, drags her out of the elevator. He wasn't getting help. I mean, it's pathetic. He should have been suspended a while ago.
7360300. Top story, you're on the air.
Yeah, what she said is important.
Oh my God!
Women do have a big mouth.
And they deserve to be punched unconscious? I don't even know why you guys are laughing.
Wow.
If that were your daughter, how would you feel?
Of course, I would be outraged. I was just wondering what set him off. If she
doesn't
did
matter.
She might not have done anything.
Usually they
you
don't.
say it doesn't matter. Okay, and I agree. I'm just curious for my own curiosity what she did.
Well, that's putting the onus on her.
No, it's not.
Absolutely. It's putting the onus on her.
Only in a liberal mind.
In a liberal mind?
If from a person who wants to know both sides of the story, you're really ignoring that part of it.
Why? She could say whatever she wants. Your husband should never hit you no matter what. Walk away. Walk away. People get in arguments all the time. You walk away.
7360300 is
the
number to call.
What did she do to piss him off?
For one more comment. Top story, you're on the air.
Oh, Kelly, you need to stop it.
I know, don't you think?
I guess.
Yeah, you just sunk yourself deeply.
I agree.
I asked the wrong question.
You did.
I totally go with Jill this one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gee
We've all been
whiz.
in arguments, but you shouldn't expect your boyfriend or your husband to punch you unconscious.
Mind. I mean,
it's irrelevant.
It's common to say,
it's
gee,
irrelevant.
What was she supposed to have done? How about if I
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Any
matter.
guy should walk away on anything.
Absolutely.
We all get in arguments. You don't punch someone.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Why, you think he should have?
Totally. No.
Well, then why are you saying it like that?
I was just curious.
Oh, my gosh.
We'll be right back with Steve Millington. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story.
The Democrats' secular progressive move, political correctness is killing us too. They want to take the money from the hard-working man and give it to the lazy folks that don't give a damn. Democrats and liberals, shame on you. Don't punish push us all just to please a few. You're holding people back while we're picking up the slack, and that's why we can't vote for a Democrat. Oh no, oh no, 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 no.
7360300 is the number to call, and that means that Steve Millington is in town, or is it Milligan?
Oh my God, who is this Steve Milligan? We heard he was over the Twin Falls County Republicans.
No, that
what happened?
That was the guy that some unknown entity that bopped into town, and
so he made those comments that maybe Steve Millington would wanted to make.
I don't know.
I was kind of surprised by your comments.
Well, it wasn't. It was Steve Milligan.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Oh, see, here we go.
But the question remains, Butch Otter's not coming to Twin Falls for a debate. Do you think that's a big deal?
No, I don't.
I thought you did.
Not for a debate. I like to have Butch Otter in town as often as I can get him here, because that gives us an opportunity to notify people and tell him, hey, look, the governor's going to be here, he's going to be there, and draw crowds.
Wait, what was Steve Milligan's comments? You were like that he should be down here for the debate.
No,
he took the Republican Party for granted down here, the Republicans.
This Milligan guy, I don't know who in the world he is.
No, seriously. I mean, he can come down
ridiculous.
And shake hands at the fair, but he can't come down and debate.
You want to talk about the debates a minute?
Yeah.
We got 4 of them this year. We have Coeur d'Alene, Idaho Falls, Boise, and Nampa. In prior gubernatorial elections, Otter was here and debated. The circumstances have changed. It is we need to be a little bit more diverse. Why North Idaho? Well, Coeur d'Alene, because the North Idaho people have a unique situation as far as their media service is concerned. The only debate that would go to North Idaho would be the Idaho Public Television debate. So they decided to put one up in Coeur d'Alene. That's a good idea, in my opinion. Otter struggled up there in the primary election, and he needs to have and he's been up there a lot, traveling. I know of 2 events since the primary election that he has held up in North Idaho. So they go to North Idaho to do a debate. They do one in eastern Idaho, they do one in western Idaho, and then the PBS one is carried by all of the PBS stations throughout the state. So that gives a pretty comprehensive coverage of the state of Idaho for the gubernatorial debates. It doesn't need to come to Twin Falls. We will look at the KTVB debates. We have a repeater in Twin Falls, so we're going to be able to see that one. They have the debate in Idaho Falls, and we have I don't remember which television station it is. Is it station 6 or something down here?
Yeah, it could be.
And we'll be able to get repeater reviews on that one. The PBS one will be on 13, and so we'll be able to see it throughout the state. The North Idaho one, we don't get coverage down here, so yeah, we're not going to see that one. So we have the very real probability of reviewing 3 out of the 4 gubernatorial
But he didn't come down for the primary with Russ Fulcher and the other 2, and they're still having the debate between, I don't know if it's Balakov or Balukov. How do you say it?
It's Balukov.
That's what I thought, but then I've heard Randy say Balakov, so I'm confused. That's what I thought.
Everybody chooses their own way to say it.
Anyway, tomato.
Balukov.
But he's going to do the debate with Buchak. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Buchak.
Buchak. So why not? Why? I mean, to me, it's like, why isn't Governor Otter coming down here when? Wait, let me finish. He comes down for the fair, dresses up like cowboy governor. He refers to the miracle of the Magic Valley whenever it's convenient. Comes down for, ribbon cuttings that makes him look good. Why not come down and debate when in the Magic Valley in Twin Falls?
The debates you're going to have 4 of them.
Yeah.
Do we reach the point where that having 44 of them makes it more meaningful, or is 4 sufficient? And Twin Falls is going to get plenty of access to coverage from the Idaho Falls debate, the public television debate, and the KTVB debate. We're going to be able to see debates, at least 3 of them.
What is his reason for not coming down here?
Why come down? You're going to have all of the coverage anyway. Why do you want to mess with it? And besides which, he was here 4 years ago. This time you need
We
to
should
move
all
to,
just remember that one. Maybe we'll just play that one over
This time
again.
you need to move to venues that have not been used in the past.
It's
And
so
it's not-
onerous to come down here?
It's not so much that we have to go to. I mean, there's 1,000 cities in Idaho. Should we have 1,000 debates?
He comes down
to our
fair.
No, that's not exactly what the purpose is. The purpose is to provide a venue where he can debate with his challenger and get points across in as broad a context as possible. And these four debates this year are more than we've had in previous gubernatorial races, and will give us plenty of access and plenty of coverage.
And we'll be back with Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans here on Top Story. The number is 736-0300. 736-0300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story, and we have Steve Millington with us from the Twin Falls Republicans. And I just wanted to tell you about Clearwater Power Equipment. They've been up in the Wood River Valley now for about 10 years, and so they decided that they'd put a store in Twin Falls, and that they have done. And it's actually been here for a few months now, and it is at 252 Washington Street. It is the old General Building Supply.
When I came to town this morning and I drove by that thing, I thought, you got to take a look, right? And there it was, all of their stuff lined up out in the front yard. And I thought, yes, sir, there they are.
That's right. And they sell Husqvarna, the full line of outdoor power products. And they sell Echo, which has the best warranty in the industry, the 5-year residential and 2-year commercial. And I don't know about you, Steve, but at my house, I'm kind of short on outbuildings, and I really don't have a good place to store my riding Husqvarna lawnmower. And they will store it. They will store it.
Through the winter months.
Through the
I know,
winter
isn't
months.
that nice?
That's right.
No rain, no snow.
That's right.
Oh, excellent.
No,
All
nothing.
you got to do is give them a call and ask them about their storage plan, and they'll tell you what it's going to mean to you at 734-7767. So our worries are over, those of us who don't have a storage area for our riding lawnmowers. 736-0300 is the number. We have Steve Millington with us from the Twin Falls Republicans. And Top Story, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to say something about the debate. You know, I went to the Simpson-Smith debate that was sponsored by the newspaper, and, you know, we were told there were no tickets. It's a sellout crowd, and maybe the auditorium was half full. And most of the people there were people that already had their minds made up and weren't looking for any more information. I'm not sure that would make a bit of difference. If the people can turn into the TV and find out what they want to know from the other areas, I don't think there will be that much support. I think the newspaper's making a big deal out of it because they didn't come to the newspaper. I think the newspaper wanted them, and they just wanted to make a big deal out of it. I don't think it's that big of a deal because I'm not sure that many people would go.
Yeah, that's a good point. What do you think, Steve?
Well,
they're televising it too, though, like they did before.
Yeah,
and
exactly. But keep in mind that the Smith-Simpson debates, did they have three? I know they had two. They had one in eastern Idaho and they had one in Twin Falls. I think they had one in Boise. I can't remember for sure, but I think they did. But our caller was spot on. The comments and so forth in the media said, you know, it's a sellout crowd. Call and get a ticket. Come by. We'll have a few.
There'll be scalpers out front.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I think our caller was generous. I don't think it was even half full.
Wow.
And there was a few flaws in some of the presentation. The moderator had a difficult time remembering who was on for this question and who should be able to rebuttal and where it should be going. The timer 2 or 3 times missed the time requirements. And so it just had some flaws, some difficulties in the actual operation of the debate. That alone would be enough to make somebody say, "Holy smokes, I'm not going down there for that kind of a deal."
Well, my question is, in the other debates, are they going to have Bujak as well? Are they going to have other candidates, or is that what he's trying to avoid?
No, I think. Oh boy.
Because I feel like he's avoiding it.
The way I understand it, it will be Otter and Belukov. No Bujek and no other fringe candidates. Just the two principal candidates, Otter and Belukov, will be on the podium to debate. And that's really what we want to hear is Otter and Belukoff.
Well,
Bujak
some
he's
people feel like
element.
but some people feel like as an independent, because he's running as an independent, and a lot of people do feel like maybe they want to hear him.
Is he running as an independent or a libertarian?
He's
as a libertarian. Okay.
Right.
But the other thing too is it's interesting that Governor Otter in the primary insisted that Harley Brown and Walt Bay be part of the debates, insisted on it with Russ Fulcher. But now he has a problem with Bujak being in it.
Look how that turned out. Yeah. Can you blame him for not wanting to replay that
I think
game
it turned
again?
out exactly the way he wanted it.
Well,
Fulcher got no attention.
Maybe you think so, but maybe it really didn't. Because
who
just
talked
what
about,
Jill thinks doesn't mean that's the way the world turned.
I'm entitled to an opinion just like you are. So you think a certain way, I can think another way. But I think it turned out exactly like he wanted it, because no one was talking about Fulcher. Harley Brown now got some reality show deal. That's all they talked about nationwide.
Well,
no one talked about Otter.
In this case, then either Belukoff or Otter will be getting the focus.
That's
so
right.
You
And
should be happy.
that's what they want.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think he should come down for this.
See, there's no pleasing.
I don't either. I don't
Why?
think
There's no pleasing you on positions. What does it matter?
There's no need for him to come to Twin Falls. He's going to have 4 debates.
But come down and shake hands at the fair for 2 hours.
What about...
one more thing.
Okay, sure.
Governor Otter will be attending an ice cream social this afternoon from 4 to 6 at the home of Michael and Chanel Dixon at 274 Sunny Hill Circle. And that's
in Twin Falls?
In Twin Falls. That's just east of Hankins Drive, back in that subdivision right back in there, from 4 to 6 this afternoon.
Is everybody invited?
You know, it's a fundraiser, so bring your checkbook, but I don't think they will turn you away.
Okay. All right. Now, what about Sherry Ibarra? She has now been accused of her campaign plagiarizing that of her opponent's website, and she has stood up and said, well, I take full responsibility, but this is just another in a series of
miscues.
Yes. And again, I repeat what I've repeated before. It's almost like she's trying to sabotage her own campaign because maybe she's had second thoughts about becoming superintendent of public instruction. I don't know.
Well, I don't think that's the case. But before I answer that particular point, I would also like to point out that Wednesday night, tomorrow night, the Twin Falls County Republican Central Committee has their monthly committee meeting at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers in downtown Twin Falls. Our guest for our meeting tomorrow night is Sherry Ibarra.
Oh, okay.
Now, back to your point.
Okay, so what were you going to say about her plagiarism?
One paragraph. That was an unfortunate thing. If you look at the process of using web designers, they are web designers. They are not necessarily so much on content. And so if I'm going to put up a web design for a physicians group, the Twin Falls Wonderful Physicians Group, I would go to other physician group websites and look at what they had and pattern my website after what the competition has. Now, Ibarra's team said they sent a content material to a website designer. That website designer would go to Jana Jones's website and other superintendent of public instruction websites across the western United States and build content consistent with other websites. It is really unfortunate that Ibarra did not sit down and go through or her campaign personnel in detail and say, whoa, this is not what we intend. And the paragraph itself is rather plain vanilla. It is not that.
Let me ask
I
you
don't know
something.
that I would refer to it as plagiarism.
Really?
But it did not. That someone did not reread that website before it was posted live. Now, the paragraph in question has been removed from the website.
Would you be this generous if Jana Jones had done that to Shelly Ibarra? Would you be that generous to say it's not plagiarism?
If Jana Jones cannot make a better comparison between herself and Sherry Ibarra than to go after Ibarra for a plagiarism of one paragraph, then Jana Jones is in real trouble, and she's a problem.
You have got to be kidding
me. Not
me.
necessarily Sherry Ibarra.
She also had a problem with saying that Randy Jensen endorsed her when he didn't, and she had to pull that from her website.
Once again, you go back to the website designers, and someone on the campaign committee has got to reread all website information before it's posted. The designers are not responsible.
She is. The buck stops with her.
Or her campaign advisor.
Sorry, I can't believe you're excusing this.
They haven't done the best job on that. But if Jana Jones is jumping up and screaming at the top of her voice over a plagiarism issue, then Jana Jones has a problem.
People have dropped out of races even recently because of plagiarism. So, I mean, it is a big deal. But, it's amazing that you just excuse us. Like, this is no big deal. Amazing.
Well,
it's education. If someone knows plagiarism, it should be educators.
The bigger issue is not necessarily one paragraph yet. I think there are 12 or 14 paragraphs on her website, and currently. So this one has been pulled. So there was one more than that. Let's look at the remaining paragraphs and see what they say and make our comparisons based on that.
Do you think this will hurt her?
I don't think it really will, but I think part of the problem is she's going to have to be more focused and more attentive to some of the nitty-gritty, if you will. It's nice to look at this thing in a broad brush approach, but in today's world of social media and the print media, you've got to make sure exactly how that's perceived by the people. So she's got a little ground to make up on this one, I think.
736-0300, top story. You're on the air with Steve Millington.
And then if you're a prominent Democrat, say First Lady, and you plagiarize someone's book, you're celebrated for it, Jill.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I think that's...
The book that Hillary Clinton wrote. She plagiarized it.
Yeah.
What book are you talking about? Her latest book?
Hard Choices? Is that the name of the book?
What did she? What? Her biography or the one she just came out with? I haven't heard this.
No, it was back several years ago.
Yeah.
Her biography?
Yep.
It takes a village.
It takes a village.
I don't know. I hadn't heard that. Had you heard that?
Look it up, Jill. Look it up.
Yeah,
I'll look it up. But look at Rand Paul. It's plagiarized 6 or 7 times, and nothing's happening to him. So there you go. I guess plagiarism doesn't matter. There you go.
Before we run out of time, I wanted to ask you that Tom Luna has given some big raises to his staff. He's not running for re-election, but he says that he gave some big raises to some of his right-hand help in his office in order that they may not lose any more before the new person takes over. And now he's kind of catching heck for that. I heard someone comment yesterday he could have taken that extra money instead of giving one of them $60 an hour, he could have moved that over to the teachers and helped out the teachers a little bit.
Well,
some of the rates per hour were really high.
Yeah, I don't even know if he can legally do that. But
he can. But let's look at this huge amount of this atrocious amount of money that he spent on staff instead of giving it to teachers. His chief deputy moved from $45 an hour to $65 an hour. That's $20 an hour.
That's a big raise.
On 2,080 hours a year, 2,100 hours a year. If my math is right, that's not quite even $45,000 a year. And the other one was his community more. That's the change in raise.
So he got a $45,000 raise.
And the other one got a raise of about $14 an hour, so that's $28,000. So between the two of them, there's about $75,000 in total raises to those two positions. Now they're very pointed to point that out. And by the way, those two people left anyway. They are both, neither one of them are still with the Department of Education. They have obtained employment elsewhere. In addition to which, 4 of the major deputy superintendents have left and gone elsewhere for jobs. And each of those positions were in approximately the $100,000 a year range. And Luna has chosen not to backfill any of those positions. His statement being, leave them open. The new superintendent can select their own people to put in those positions so that they can build their staff. Now, the rest of the employees, about 140 of them, received a 1% raise and a 1% bonus.
Boy, they must be thrilled.
They must.
They get 1%. So, these guys got a $45,000
two
raise.
People, a total of about $75,000, and you couldn't even hardly pay the postage for $75,000. You talk about much ado about nothing.
I hope you have a long memory. I hope you have a long memory when other people do this.
Hey, thanks, Steve. We'll see you next week.
Steve.
We've got Kelly Knievel, we got Eddie Braun, and we got Gary Davis next hour right here on Top Story. Well, welcome back to Top Story. 7360300 is always the number, and welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Kelly. Same to you.
Now, I don't mind telling you, we have a full control room right now.
We do.
Yeah.
I think we're maxed out.
I think we are. Yeah, we're just about as max as it can get.
That's right.
We have Kelly Knievel, who's the eldest son of Daredevil Evel Knievel.
Mm-hmm.
We have Eddie Braun, who is the stuntman destined to jump across the Snake River Canyon soon. And we have Gary Davis, who's kind of putting all of this on. And you are the former stuntman of the Daredevil. Am I correct? You were Evel Knievel's stunt guy.
Yes, but that was a long time ago. I'm an old guy now.
But you're the stuntman coordinator. You're helping coordinate this jump, correct?
Yeah, I'm helping
yes.
Eddie. Not that it needs a lot of help. Eddie is a stunt coordinator in his own right, and but so we work on it together. And then when it comes down to the day when he really has to make the jump, he's got to have his hands full just dealing with the rocket, and I'll make sure everything else is good around him.
Oh, that's good.
Wow. So Kelly, when your dad attempted to jump the Snake River Canyon, how old were you?
I was 14.
Okay, so you have probably a pretty good memory of it then. It's not from a young child point of view. You remember what happened.
Oh, yeah, I remember it well, yes.
Yeah. So what do you think now that fast forward to today, Eddie Braun rigging up to jump the Snake River Canyon? Just kind of give us your thoughts on that.
Well, I think it's a different world today. You know, there's been my dad left a legacy that inspired people, and Eddie met my dad when he was a little boy, and that's what inspired him to get in the stunt business. And Eddie wants to go out on top and do something really spectacular, and I think he picked the right road. I mean, no one's jumped the canyon in 40 years, and Eddie's come to town and he's put his own money where his mouth is, and he got together the team and found the land. And there's a lot of people around that are going to say, well, I could have done it, and I wish they would have chose me. And well, they've had 40 years to do it. Yeah. So Eddie's the guy with the wherewithal and the skills and the vision, and I mean, he put it together in 6 months, and I think he's doing a great job.
What was it like after the jump? I mean, your dad must have been horribly disappointed. Do you remember that? Like, were you kind of disappointed as a boy? I mean, did you understand, like, wow, it didn't...
No, there was no disappointment at all. My dad, believe me, my dad was the happiest guy on earth to be still on this side of the dirt.
Boy, those are fun words to hear.
I know, Eddie, no worries. No worries.
Yeah, it's not like there's any pressure there.
I know.
Okay. No, and you notice he never geared up to do it again either. He said he'd do it one time, and he did it one time, and he lived through it, and that's all that mattered.
So he said, okay, it wasn't like I was going to try again.
And when people think of Evel Knievel today, I mean, that's what they think of, the guy that attempted to jump the Snake River Canyon. And,
I don't agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
Oh, okay.
I think that's just a side note. When people, I know personally for me, when I think of Evel Knievel, I mean, I think of original American badass. He did what he said what he did, whether people agreed or not. He set a bar and he went for it. So that's what I think of when I think of Evel Knievel. I think American original badass. That was the guy that did what he said. The Snake River thing, that's kind of a side note. Okay. That's just my humble opinion, you know.
Yeah. And that's a good one.
I mean, I like to tell people all the time that if my dad would have been born in Poland, I don't think there'd have been an Evel Knievel.
Well, that's one way to look at
it. It really is.
Kelly, let me ask you something. In today's world where everybody's so cynical and everybody's so they throw out ideas and comments, oh yeah, I could have, should have, would have. How many people really actually go and do it? Now, you don't hit a home run unless you're swinging for the fence.
That's true. Yeah, Did you ever think you'd be in this position, Eddie?
Oh God, no. Are you kidding me? I mean, it seems like my whole 30-plus year career in the business as a professional stunt coordinator, stuntman, has culminated to this moment. I mean, it's like I couldn't even attempt this if I didn't have the background and skills which I've been lucky enough to acquire over the years.
Right.
I wouldn't have had those skills or opportunities if I wasn't inspired by Mr. Knievel, meeting him as a kid. So it like all culminates to this moment.
It really changed your life meeting him, didn't it?
Oh, listen, absolutely. If I didn't meet him and I didn't enter into the stunt business, I'd probably be in L.A. County Jail somewhere right now.
So when this takes place and you do make it, and then you go back to doing your regular thing in Hollywood, is that going to be kind of a, boy, this is boring now?
No, it's never. Excuse me. It's never boring at work. Let me start out by saying that it's never boring. It's, but it will be. See, that's the thing. I'm not doing this to elevate to something else. It will be the pride of accomplishment, and that's enough for me.
Do you view it like another stunt, like almost that you're coming to it with the planning and engineering of another stunt, like you do for movies? So to you, it's kind of like, okay, one more stunt we're really dealing with, but it's a big stunt.
Well, first of all, I refer to it more of an action sequence.
Okay, an action sequence.
It is. But I break it into two halves. There's the technical half that I can be technical, and that's why I have Gary Davis as my stunt coordinator. And there's the emotional half, and I have to kind of separate that, because if I start thinking of the emotion, I start tearing up just thinking about what I'm.
I know you
had the opportunity to do.
You said you got really emotional yesterday. Now you're getting emotional today, like just looking at the rocket.
I'm a wimp at heart. I really am. But no, when I show up there and I look at this rocket and I look at what my hero attempted, and just the fact that I get to attempt it, it's powerful. I have to disassociate myself emotionally from it, because I'll just weep like a baby. I'm such a wimp. Where Evel Knievel, that's where we're so different. Evel Knievel was the man. He was a badass. He was to the bone. I'm a wimp to the bone. I really am. So I have to disassociate myself from it emotionally and just look at it technical. It's an action sequence that just has never been done before.
And Gary, what do you think, being one of the coordinators on this? What do you think about viewing this action sequence?
Well, first of all, although Eddie is easily moved emotionally, he's every bit the badass that he's not claiming to be. Because when we have any big stunt set up in any of our sequences, and it's going to be a tough one, someone that's got to hit something hard or hit something fast, Eddie's the guy I usually call in, and he never weakens at all. He goes for it, and he's going to go for this the same way. We're planning it, like you said. We're technically supported, and I'll keep going over things to make sure everything stays good, but when it comes right down to it, Eddie's the guy we put in the rocket, and Eddie's the guy that's going to push the button.
So yesterday you guys had a static thrust test, right?
Correct.
But we had a few little bumps in the road. Do you want to tell people? Because we were thinking it was happening at 10. So when I got off the air, I thought, it already happened. And then I found out later it didn't. It's happening today at 4. Do you want to explain what happened?
Well, first of all, very much like the movie business. You stand around and wait. One of the things that makes this really complex but not so complex is, and a lot of people don't realize, we're using the same technology, more or less, that Evel used 40 years ago. We're not coming at this with today's modern carbon fiber and computers. It would be easy. We put men on the moon and brought them back.
Right.
It's a lot harder to do when you're using the technologies and the same rocket and design that Evel used 40 years ago. That makes it a little more challenging. I venture to guess, I wonder how many of these X game guys would be where they were now if they used the same equipment that Mr. Knievel used.
Yeah, that's right.
See, they're all jumping these great distances and these great heights with modern technology.
Has anyone said to you, why aren't you using modern technology?
Well,
are you guys crazy?
A lot of people ask. But then, then it would be a slam dunk. Then it would be easy.
Yeah.
Try doing it with a steam rocket exactly like Mr. Knievel tried 40 years ago. That raises the bar a little bit.
Right.
That's what makes it really tough and challenging. Like I said, let me see half of these X Games guys go do what Mr. Knievel did with a lead brick.
No, that makes it. It's like playing the U.S. Open with a wooden racket now.
Exactly.
He couldn't do it.
And anything short of that would not be an homage to Evel Knievel, and it also wouldn't fulfill the dream that he had.
So what are the improvements in the parachute design? Because I know that was the big difficulty in the last one. Now I guess you got 3 parachutes, and how is that different that it'll function today with how it did back then?
Really? I got 3 parachutes? Show me where they are.
That's what we heard. I don't know. We read that somewhere.
Is that not true?
I don't know that it's not true, but I don't think I have 3 parachutes.
Okay.
I'll ask that question the minute I get out to the site. I think I have
Gary,
2.
he does have?
Yeah.
Oh, I do?
You want to take the...
You have a drone chute, which they're calling is one of them. And then you have 2 other chutes. One's your regular chute, one's an emergency chute.
Sure.
There's also 3 ways to activate the chutes. One, Eddie has full control of inside the ship. One, we are doing remotely from the site. And the third one is on a timer. So if any of our other systems fail, I mean, one of them has to work.
Yeah. We would hope.
I know. Don't worry, Eddie. One has, but some people said that Evel blacked out. Is that true? In the beginning and hit it. Did he black out or not black out?
I've heard more things from more people.
I know.
It's easy, but Kelly, let me.
Did your dad black out from the G-force? They said right away.
Oh, first of all, who's they?
You heard that too? It just happens around. But if it's one of those rumors, you then answer. Yeah, just say it's not true.
To answer your question, no.
So he didn't.
No, he did not black out at all.
From the G-force. Okay.
No, the same malfunction that happened with the test rocket happened with the actual shot, in that the thrust of steam prematurely blew off the canister of the parachute and deployed the parachute actually as soon as the rocket took off.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know in the videos that you see now, you can see it plain as day.
We have scrutinized that film probably more than the Zapruder Kennedy film. So he was poor Evel was dragging laundry before he even left the ramp.
So the technical details of the static thrust test today, you set up a bunch of fancy equipment and it tests to see how much thrust you have and if it burns long enough to get across.
Well, the equipment that we're going to set up will measure and confirm what we already kind of know. So we're just using technology just to dot our I's and cross our T's, because believe me, I do not want to end up on the side of that canyon as a permanent monument here in Twin Falls. So we need to make sure that there's enough thrust to get me across, but not so much thrust I end up in Jerome County Starbucks somewhere.
Yeah. Kelly, do you think if the chute hadn't come out that your dad would have made it?
Well, the wind was blowing pretty hard that day, so nobody knows, but it looked like he got about 3/4 of the way across the canyon, and then, when the wind was blowing, it blew him back. The first 2 rockets went right in the middle of the river, and then on the actual shot, it looked like he got about maybe 3/4 of the way across, and then the wind blew him back, and right where it happened to blow, it wasn't a sheer wall down into the river. There was a sheer wall that went down and then about 20 feet of riverbank, and he just got blown into the wall and then just toppled over, and just luckily, by the grace of God, ended up in that little 20-foot strip right on the edge of the river, and it's just sheer luck.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. We have Kelly Knievel, we have Eddie Braun, and we have Gary Davis with us, and the camera guy too, filming this for a document. Forgot to mention you before.
Steve.
Jim and Steve. Holy smoke! Well, we'll be right back. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We'll get back to our subject at hand in just a moment, but first I want to say that yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Debbie Sanvey.
Debbie Sanvey, congratulations.
I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I hope so.
And your $100 word of the day for today is bottle.
Bottle.
B-O-T-T-L-E.
Great. Hand me one right now.
You'll need a few, Eddie.
You can go to our website at newsradio1310.com, click on word of the day, type in bottle, and if you hear your name tomorrow and you played the word today, then you win $100.
That's so easy.
Yeah, just like that.
You guys have to play word of the day. Do we have a caller?
We don't.
Oh, I thought you were looking over there. Sorry.
No. But we do have Eddie Braun and Kelly Knievel and Gary Davis. We're talking about the upcoming Snake River Canyon jump. We don't know exactly yet when it's going to be. Could be this year, could be next. That's still kind of
sooner
up in the
rather
air.
than later. I'd like to get it over with.
Yeah, I can.
Is it
can
creating
understand.
anxiety? Like almost like, okay, let's just do it. Like when you're ready, are you like, okay, ready, let's go?
Creating a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all I think about, And meanwhile, I still have my day job as a stuntman, so I got to think about that too. But no, I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be.
Now, when the day comes, you said that it's just going to be another day at work, and your family isn't even going to be here.
Well, I have to look at this like I look at work. Again, another day. I plan on. I already know my routine in my head. I'm going to hit the local Starbucks, which is great, by the way, here in Twin Falls. They're very welcoming there. I'm going to go to Starbucks, have my coffee, kind of gather my thoughts, and go to work. It's another day at work. If I start thinking of the monumental thing of what I'm trying to attempt to do, I'll just, I'll be a 12-year-old little girl not wanting to get out of bed.
If your family was here that day, would it be a detriment to your workings that day?
I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, I just imagine like having my mother at work when I go to work to crash a car or something. It's just I can't concentrate. I'm dealing with my mom or somebody. I can't. No, it's another day at work. It has to be to me.
Now, is your wife, is she concerned at all? I mean, I can't imagine being married to a stuntman because I'd be like a little nervous when you say, okay, goodbye, honey, and then you don't know what's going to happen. But is she worried about this one?
I think anybody that's close to me is kind of worried about it.
I'm worried for you, Eddie.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Let's put the fact, and this is what I have to kind of take out of my mind, is I'm attempting something that no one else has successfully done, for starters. And the only other man to attempt it was my hero, Evel Knievel. I mean, a lot of people say coulda, woulda, shoulda, but Evel Knievel said it great. That canyon hasn't moved 1 inch in 40 years, and you don't see a long line of guys attempting it.
That's true.
Yeah. Years ago, when this happened and Evel Knievel was unsuccessful in jumping, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the event and such. And Kelly, I know you wanted to say something about that.
Well, if you read the papers around here or certain quotes from people, it kind of seems like it's the Hatfields and McCoys. But every single person that I've met in town has been nothing but encouraging, with very positive things to say. And if I go out to a restaurant, literally, I will be sitting at a table, people won't know who I am, and they'll be talking about the jump at the next table. And they're excited about it, and they're really positive about it. And sometimes I just think the things in the paper is just it's just politics and people trying to swing things one way or the other to their own advantage. But in reality, everybody I've met, everything I've heard, everyone's all for it, and they're really positive. And I think it's going to be really good for the town, and I think it's going to come off well.
Eddie, go ahead.
Well, yesterday I had a chance to meet some of the local landowners. They came out to kind of see what this rocket and ramp thing looked like. I got to tell you, they were the most welcoming hosts. I mean, I realize I'm a guest here in the community. I'm a guest on their property. And they couldn't be more gracious. They were really like sweetheart gentlemen. I mean, they talked to me, and they, obviously they had questions. We show up to town, it's like the carnival showing up, but they were really, really great. The response has, to me, I mean, there's been a few detractors, but the response has been overwhelmingly. I had a guy thank me that he was able to make his mortgage payment because of the money. By the way, I don't know, most people know that this rocket is local as it gets. It was built here in Twin Falls by Twin Falls people. The ramp, everything is very local. The money spent here has been local. But I had this gentleman thank me because he was able to make his mortgage payment because of a rocket, which was really kind of nice.
You even had a crop duster. Wasn't he going to take pictures of the ramp?
Yeah, but this is a very local event. The money, I can assure you, well over $1 million has been spent right here in Twin Falls.
Right. I don't think people realize that.
No, I don't think
happening.
they don't either.
Yeah.
And this kind of economy, well, the guy that was able to make his mortgage payment, he sure realized it. He thanked
did.
me.
Yeah, that's nice.
So,
Well, we'll be right back here on Top Story. 736-0300 is the number to call. 7360300 was the number to call here this morning on Top Story. More coming up about the Snake River Canyon jump. But first, I want to tell you about my good friend Dave Hansen at Canyon Pawn. Is the newest pawn shop in town. And, you go into pawn shops and it's kind of dirty and kind of stuff all beshoveled on the shelves and stuff. And it's just sometimes not a positive experience. Well, it's just exactly the opposite at Canyon Pawn. New store, they just put it in, newly remodeled, clean store. They got stuff on the shelves still in the box. New stuff, camping stuff, woodworking stuff. They got fishing poles. They got tools. They got guns.
Hey,
yeah,
Kelly,
baby, yes.
Do they want a rocket when I'm done?
I wouldn't be surprised. You might, yes.
You can sign it, Eddie.
What is it, Canyon Palm?
Canyon Pond.
Yeah,
right.
I will go to Canyon Pond possibly afterwards with a rocket, and they're going to give me some money for it.
There you go. That would be great. Plus, while you're there, you can sign up for a chance to win a Savage 17 HMR with AccuTrigger.
If I knew what that was.
So, okay.
Yeah. Welcome to my world, Eddie.
That's right.
See?
You're from California. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, the land of fruits and nuts.
Well, I'll tell you what. You go to Canyon Pond, and Dave will show it to you. And,
all right, Dave, I'm going to come find you.
There you go. See, Canyon Pond, they're on Shoshone Street, right across from Will's Toyota in the old...
I don't even know what old building it is anymore.
I know.
There's never a new building. It's like 4
Vickers
years
Western
ago.
store was there many
like
years ago.
in
But
the
that's
70s.
how we talk around here. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, you go down here to the old Smith place. Well, Smith hasn't owned it for 40 years.
Well, you have new people in town.
That's just the way we talk.
Come on.
I know.
All right.
I know. I don't know what to say, Jill. That's just the way it is.
All right.
Okay.
Well, if anyone has any questions for Eddie or Gary or Kelly, they need to call in now.
Yeah, that's right. And we started talking about the static thrust test, but we never really talked about the outcome. What was the issue?
Well, we had basically for the layman, we had a clogged line, pretty much.
Okay.
That's as basic as it. Because see, they have to explain this to me because I am the layman, just regular guy. They start talking technical terms, I don't get it. It's like, tell me what time it is. Don't tell me how the clock works.
So Gary, what happened then? Since you're the technical guy, what happened yesterday?
In one of the source lines that delivers water to our tank that's on board the ship. Once it starts to get heated up, it is delivered through a very fine orifice, and we got impurities in that line and clogged that orifice up. So we weren't transferring the steam from our boiler outside to the tank inside.
See, that's what I thought it was.
We got some schmutz
All
in
you
the
had
line,
to do
right?
was tell me it was a clogged line, and I knew immediately what that was.
You could have told me it was a clogged line. That's enough.
Got a little schmutz in the line, right, Gary? There you go. Yeah, a little schmutz.
We got a call coming in. 7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly and Jill.
Good morning,
Kyle.
Kelly, Evel Knievel jumped the canyon when I was 13, and I was in Hawaii, and it was a big deal in Hawaii. The publicity that Idaho got should outweigh anything that went wrong. And Evel was an inspiration to a huge generation. I've got a lot of scars to prove it. I think it's just amazing that no one's really done anything like him ever. And if Eddie pulls this off, it'll be the first time that anybody's done anything similar to him. I mean, all the jumps he's ever done has been on a huge motorcycle. I mean, there's guys jumping stuff now with a 125-pound bike with 14 inches of travel.
Kyle, I'd like to sponsor you for mayor.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Now you need to comment on it. You've just been nominated for mayor by Kelly
Kyle,
Knievel.
watch
What do you
out.
think about that?
I'm not sure I can vote for you, Kyle.
Me and you would have problems, Jill.
Yeah, we might have a little bit.
Hey, Kyle, this is Eddie. You tell me you're a Republican, you got my vote.
Are you kidding? Who is it on this station?
I'm a conservative. But anyway, I think this can be an inspiration to a lot of people. I mean, Evel Knievel inspired me to think outside the box, build my own stuff, build my own ramps, build my own bikes, motorcycles, everything else. People don't do that anymore. They just don't.
If they do, they get a reality show on TV.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Actually, he kind of spurred something that I want to ask. there's a huge possibility, and maybe you might have already have done this in your career. You may have inspired some young boy or girl who came up to you and you shook their hand, and they might be following you in your footsteps, and you don't even know it.
I would recommend that I inspire them to go find a real job and do something meaningful instead of running into walls for a living. That's what I'd hope to inspire them.
Not really.
If you had to do it again,
really.
do you think you would take this route?
For me personally,
Yeah.
I absolutely would have taken the same route. I've lived, for me, a life that I'm very, at the end of the day, I'll go out of this world very content and happy.
So you're happy
That's
with
for
it.
me. But,
yeah.
I'm a guy that just got out of high school, That's it.
Eddie Braun, Kelly Knievel, and Gary Davis are our guests here this morning on Top Story. When we come back, want to ask you about the sponsor, the broadcaster that everybody seems to think you need. So we'll talk about that when we come back. And we are back. 736-0300 is the number to call here. We got Eddie Braun. We got Kelly Knievel. We got Gary Davis. We kind of have the all-star team when it comes to
Not
motorcycle
the JV
jumping,
team.
rocket jumping. That's right.
We
Not
got the
JV
all-star team.
We've got the A-team, ladies
I
and
know.
gentlemen. Right
I'd
here
actually say
in
a
our
merry
studio.
band of misfits, actually.
Yeah, but you're underestimating yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you are truly an inspiration to what America is. I mean, going out there, taking chances. Yeah, you might get hurt, but that's what America is. And with the attitude we have in society today, oh my gosh, somebody might go out there and get hurt. We better pass a law against it. And
Okay,
that just pisses me off.
don't
to no end.
start
So
him
now
on
we've got
this
Eddie Braun,
tangent.
ladies
It's
and
about
gentlemen.
these guys.
We've got
Calm
Eddie
down.
Braun. We've got the guy who's going to jump the Snake River Canyon in a rocket for
Well,
crying out
at
loud.
least I'm going to attempt it.
There you
There's
go.
a difference.
Yeah, well,
It's hard to talk about something I haven't even done yet, but the attempt will be there.
Sure, absolutely.
But when you
Now-
look at, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I wanted to talk about, there seems to be some talk about, well, you got to have a broadcaster to chip in and buy this to make it happen. But that's not the case.
No, that is absolutely not the case. I mean, of course we would like a broadcaster. Of course we would like all of that stuff. But we're not out there, if they don't come aboard, as far as I'm concerned, it's their loss. We're doing this either way. We're doing a documentary out of it, and we'll have something for posterity. I mean, something that, like I said, to me, self-satisfaction, that's enough. That I actually accomplished my dream.
Yeah.
A lot of people have dreams. Not many people act on them.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
So for me, just doing it is enough. Yeah. Whether it's broadcast or it's us, bunch of misfits there on the cliff. Hey, we shot a rocket across. We did it.
And Kelly, it's really not needed anyways. I know you wanted to make some comments about.
Well, this is where I have to jump in. The first time Eddie called me, I've had every Tom, Dick, Harry, and clown call me that claims they're going to go over the Snake River Canyon. So the first call I got from Eddie, of course, I almost hung up on him. And
you almost? I think you did, right?
Within the first 10 seconds, like, oh, here's another guy that claims he's going to go over the Snake River Canyon. So anyway, Eddie flew into Las Vegas and met me, and we sat down and talked. And I found him to be a very sincere guy with the wherewithal to make it all happen. So first thing he says to me, he says, hey, look, I don't care if there's just the three of us out there, me, you, and Truax. I'm going over the canyon. And I looked at him, I said, well, what a dumb son of a bitch you are. My dad did not break his bones and spill his blood for free, and neither should you, my man. But, his heart's in the right place. And it's any guy that has that attitude that's going to do that is really the only guy that's serious enough.
Hey, Kelly, I think
to make it happen.
Your dad left me the perfect say. He says, you got to be willing to jump a can for nothing before you'll do it for anything. Those were your dad's words.
It was.
Yeah, well, ultimately, Evel Knievel said that. He says, you have to be willing to jump a canyon for nothing before you'll do it for anything.
But then I think he figured out it's better to make some money off of it, or at least get your money back.
Well, if not, I can assure you, I'll go see the guy at Canyon Pawn Shop.
Yeah, Canyon Pawn.
I'll be seeing him pretty quickly.
He can sell your rocket parts. So, Kelly, what did you think about Scott Truax having the exact plans and recreating the exact rocket? Did you know about that prior to Eddie getting involved?
Yeah, I think it's part of the story. It's a wonderful part of the story that Scott's doing something that he believes in that makes him feel good, and I think it's a really neat part of the story.
It's pure.
Yeah,
it's pure. You can't go wrong when your motives are pure, and you can't go wrong. Even if you don't exactly get the outcome you expect, if your motives are pure, who can argue that? And Scott Truax, he said, bless his heart, Scott Truax, what a gentleman. He said, I would do this for nothing. I said, good, because you may have to.
He's working his butt off.
And to use the technology of the day, I think is important because when Lindbergh flew the Atlantic in the Spirit of St. Louis, that was a big deal. To fly it today with a new technology, it's nothing.
It's funny you brought up Charles Lindbergh, because I thought I got to name this rocket. I certainly don't want Eddie Braun splashed across the side of it, because it's not about that. And I thought about that, and I read some of Charles Lindbergh's writings. I thought, you know what? I'm doing this in the spirit of evil. Ooh. My rocket, it's the evil spirit.
Ooh.
That's what it's named. That's what it's called. It's
Very
the
cool.
evil spirit.
So did we break that first right here, right now? Or has that kind of been a known thing?
Well, I've kind of told the people at Starbucks, because I thought of it while sitting at Starbucks.
Can't believe
getting coffee.
they had breaking news before us. We're going to have to show up at Starbucks tomorrow.
And I'm getting looks. I have a silent guy over there, my executive producer.
Steve, would you like to say something?
My executive producer and my partner from day one, Steve Golubiowski. He's quietly looking over there at me, but...
in case you guys haven't noticed, we're trying to get Starbucks as a sponsor.
Well, hey, whether Starbucks
a rocket shot.
I'll tell you what.
There you go, a rocket shot.
Whether Starbucks is on board or not, I can unequivocally say that they have fueled me personally every morning to even come up with this wild-ass idea.
Well, we're running out of time, so right now we don't have a date yet, but you'll keep us informed, right?
Yeah, I'll let you know when I know.
Okay.
How's that? I mean, we'll be ready.
Yeah.
That's part of this whole process. We will be 100% ready to fire that rocket off. We'll make the determination whether a broadcaster comes on board or not. It'll be cool either way. I think it'll be something that I think everybody will be proud of at the end of the... I've said that from day one.
And where can they follow you on Facebook? Is it Return to Snake River?
You can either go to Return to Snake River, or you can go to Eddie Braun, my stupid little Facebook page. It's like my diary.
It's not stupid. It's great.
It's my brain.
We are out of time. I want to thank Eddie Braun, Gary Davis, and Kelly Knievel for being our special guests here today on Top Story. And I tell you what, we're praying for you and we're pulling for you.
Thank you. And I want to thank all of Twin Falls for having me. Thank you for having me.
And here's the Huckabee Report. And you can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563. You know what? Our guests are still here. We got a couple more.
We locked the door. We didn't let them leave.
We got a couple more things to say. Yeah, but I wanted to tell you a new way of irrigating your farmland, and that's with Certiset. These are flexible pipes that go out in your field. When you need to go out of your field to do something, you have a attachment on your equipment that picks up the pipe, lays it over the equipment, and right out the back. You don't even have to move pipe anymore. You don't have to spray around the field so that there's no weeds, so that it makes room for the pipe. It saves time and it saves money, and it's the new technology of the future. Get a hold of them at Far More of Idaho. They can fill you in on this. They know a lot more about it than I do. The number is 324-3341 or online at farmoreofidaho.com. All right, Kelly, you wanted to plug a documentary coming up. Was that what it was?
No, not just any documentary. We've been working on this for 2 years. It's the only documentary the family's ever been involved in. It's on Spike. It's 90 minutes. It's tomorrow night, Wednesday, September 10th at 9 p.m. It's going to tell the whole Evel Knievel story. It's called I Am Evel Knievel, and there's a big segment on there in the documentary about the Snake River Canyon jump. It's going to be it's the best thing I've ever seen done on my dad.
Kelly, and it's 9 Mountain Time, right? Our time.
9 o'clock Spike Mountain Time.
Okay, great.
All right, very good.
Tomorrow night, the 10th.
And Eddie, you had an interesting text that you got on your phone just now.
Well, yeah, I got it was very sweet. I got a text from Charlie Sheen, who's been keeping up with all of this, and he's a dear friend of 30 years, and he just texted me and said, "Great job, everybody's finally hearing about it," and that's a whole nother story. Charlie's been supportive from day one. I actually tried talking me out of it and tried to pay me to not do it, but bless his heart. Anyway, so he's been listening and keeping up with all this too. So Charlie, thank you for your note of support there.
And you've been a stuntman for like 30 years, right?
I've doubled Charlie for many, many years, and he's just, bless him, he's a sweetheart of a man. And he just sent me that text you guys saw while we were on the show.
I had no idea Charlie could listen to us.
So
listen, it's Charlie Sheen. He can.
Charlie.
Do people mistake you for him when you're walking down the street? Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
No, Charlie is a one and much like Evel Knievel, he's a one and only.
All right, well, gentlemen, it's really been fun. We appreciate you coming in. I'm sure we'll do many more of these before the jump.
Yes,
hopefully you'll be there to.
The original caller of the event.
All right, wouldn't miss it. All right, thank you. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll have the State of the City, and I think a whole bunch of other stuff too. So we'll see you then. Have a great day. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.